Hey everyone, welcome to the 5 Intentions for a Purpose-Filled Year workshop. Now, I'm so excited and so grateful that you're joining me here today. Thank you for registering, thank you for making this a priority, and most importantly, well done for actually showing up. You've already taken the most important step by clearing your schedule right now and being present. You're making a commitment that shows you're taking responsibility for your personal growth, and I'm so happy that you've decided to start investing in yourself. This is going to be such a valuable time together. Now, I guarantee the things I'm going to share with you on this workshop will make a big difference in your life, and I can't wait to dive in and share it all with you. I'll never forget when I first started taking responsibility for my own personal growth. I was just 18 when I met a monk, and immediately I knew he had something I didn't have. To be honest, I'd been floundering, experimenting with the wrong things, and I was really seeking more meaning in life, and I didn't even know it. As I listened to this monk, I could sense a deep passion and purpose in his life, and I wanted that for myself. I'd been so focused on the next thrill and on money and on the opposite sex, but it was all empty. And I knew that what I really wanted was a life of service and purpose. So after graduating from university, I left behind a high-paying career option at age 22 and became a monk. I literally traded my suits for robes. I gave away my possessions, all my favorite football jerseys, and spent 3 years living out of a gym locker across England and India. Now, being a monk isn't glamorous. My daily routine was waking up at 4 a.m. every day, taking a cold shower, meditating for 4 to 8 hours a day, and serving others for multiple hours per day. During that time, I really learned how to study. I learned how to train my mind and focus. I studied all the greats and obsessed over how they were able to do amazing things and make a difference in the world. I also learned how to serve. I helped build the Sustainable Village and ran food programs, and some of those are doing incredible work in the world today. Eventually, I realized I was being called in a different direction. If I could learn mindfulness, service, and study and make a difference in the world around me, what would happen if I could teach others to do exactly the same? So at age 25, I moved back in with my parents in London. I had no money. I'd committed career suicide when I'd left everything to become a monk. I had to take several months just to update myself on what was going on in the world. But I found I was happy. I was still at peace in that chaos. My time as a monk had taught me the practices needed to remain still when everything was crazy. And my friends from college and university were asking me what I learned and how that was working. They were working in these high-stress careers, and it broke my heart to see them burnt out. These people who were passionate and happy, but they wanted to learn what I learned as a monk. So when they started asking me to come and speak and teach and share these teachings in the businesses, I jumped at the chance because it showed me how relevant what I had learned was. That was the start of my journey to make wisdom go viral almost over 6 years ago now. And I'm still on a mission to spread wisdom around the world. I'm so grateful to have millions of followers and billions of views on my viral videos. But really for me, it's about changing lives one person at a time. That's still my biggest goal, still my main resolution in life, and always will be. This online workshop is part of that. So let's get started on the 5 intentions for a purpose-filled year. As we get going, let me ask you something. Listen carefully. Do you make resolutions or set goals? Did you make some this year? If you've ever made resolutions or set big goals, or if you made some for the first time this year, comment yes in the chat below so that I can see it. Or maybe you're not the kind of person who makes resolutions, or maybe you just don't have time. Maybe you think they're silly, or you never keep them anyway, or it's just setting you up for disappointment. If that's you, comment no in the chat below right now, right? There's no shame in that. You can be honest, no judgment in this space. Don't feel bad. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and you're not alone. I can see that there's lots of yeses in the chat. Janice says yes. Terry says yes. There's yes from Deshaun, Lydia, and Ming. We've got some goal avoiders too. Mike says, I never make New Year's resolutions because I never keep them. It's awesome. Yes, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today, Mike. Right? Thank you. I'm going to share something with you that's going to make it so much easier to set goals. And I know you can achieve them. How does that sound? When I think about resolutions and goals, I can't help think about my Genius coaching group. Everyone in the Genius coaching group inspires me so much. It's seriously my favorite place online to hang out and spend time. In the past 12 months, Genius members have set some amazing goals and actually accomplished them. It's truly amazing and phenomenal to see. And I want to share some of those with you. They've done things like triple their income, right, within a year, started whole new businesses and launched new brands, wrote books or started YouTube channels and made more videos. They've saved their relationships from divorce or breakup. They've overcome challenges in their divorces or their marriages. They've improved their communication with their partners and, more importantly, even their children. Now, how did they do it right? Or how did they do it differently? Is there a secret to being able to make resolutions and achieve them like that? Yes, is the answer, but it's not the way you think. The secret is resolutions don't work, right? That's crazy, right? It's not what you expect me to say, or it's not what you expect people to tell you, but it's true. Resolutions don't really work unless you have a plan in place to shift your mindset as you shift your behaviors. I knew I wanted to live a different kind of life even as a teenager. I also knew things in my life needed to change. Now, I was never going to get where I wanted to be in a life of purpose and living my passion if I didn't do something different. I needed to get intentional about my life and where it was going. Intentional is the key word here, because what I've discovered in my own life and in helping thousands of other people change their lives is that there are 5 intentions that make all the difference. I call them the 5 intentions to a purpose-filled year. These 5 intentions make it possible to set resolutions and actually keep them without getting discouraged, without getting distracted, without settling for less than what you really desire and deserve, without giving up. How? You're probably thinking? Because these 5 intentions give you a plan to shift your mindset while you shift your behaviors. It blows my mind how simple each of these intentions are, yet so few people actually do them. Maybe they just don't know how to start. Over the course of the next hour, I'm going to teach you how to put these 5 intentions into action. And here's the benefits that you're going to receive. So you can rewire your brain, engage your greatest potential, create lasting change in your life, renew your mind, and add healthy behaviors and habits to your life. How does that sound, right? Just tell me straight away. How does that sound? How many of us would want that, right? I'm guessing we all want that. I'm really hoping you're looking forward to this online workshop. I'd love for you right now to grab your notebook and a pen. I really hope that you've printed off the worksheet, and if you haven't, make sure you do, and make sure you're ready to take notes and write things down. That way they're going to stay here and actually become active for you. Don't just let this be something that you're sitting in on. Don't let this be something that just passes you by without putting it into action. This could make sure that 2020 is a different year for you. Right now, maybe you're thinking, 5 intentions sounds nice, Jay, but probably won't work for me. It'll work for other people, but not for me. How many of you feel that or are hearing that voice in your head? Do you ever find yourself thinking like that? Comment yes in the chat if you ever do that. If you ever think that something will work for other people, but not for you, let me know. Okay, Tom is saying yes, he's felt that way. Arena says yes. I see you, Teresa, Damon, Margaret, yes. It's all too common. Gregor, Felicia say yes too. I used to feel like that too. Just 3 years ago, I felt like I had no options at all. I was working in a corporate job. It was a good job, and I was good at it, but I didn't love it. I did have something going for me though. My time as a monk had taught me how to be really intentional about my life. Think of anything you do unintentionally. I learned that when I applied intentionality and discipline to specific areas of my life, things changed. I saw results. I never ever thought I'd be able to make videos, speak on stages all over the world, and use social media to share a message that was so important to me. I genuinely never saw it. I was able to make and keep resolutions and goals, and I created a life where I love what I do every single day. So, grab your notebook and your pen and just make a list of 3 things, resolutions or goals you'd like to achieve. They can be big or small. There's no right or wrong answer. I just want you to do that. Just write down 3 resolutions or goals you want to reach this year as we go through this workshop today. And I'm going to give you the 5 intentions for a purpose-filled year. But I'm not going to just give you a list and then expect you to figure it out on your own, right? Don't worry, it's not that kind of workshop. I'm actually going to show you how to apply each one in your life so you can get the best results possible and start setting those resolutions and reaching those goals. Ready? Here we go. The 5 intentions are awake, attention, attitude, attraction, and accountability. So the 5 intentions are awake, attention, attitude, attraction, and accountability. They all start with the letter A, so they're super simple to remember. Go ahead and write those down as we get started. Awake, attention, attitude, attraction, and accountability. So the first intention I want to talk to you about today is being awake. Now, I'm not trying to be super trendy by encouraging everyone to get woke. That's not what I mean by this. What I'm actually being 100% literal with this. Getting up early is the first intention that will help you reach your goals and fulfill your resolutions. I'm actually being 100% literal with this. Getting up early is the first intention that helps you reach your goals and fulfill your resolutions. I know that's probably not what you're expecting to hear, right? But here's the thing. Are you a morning person or a night owl? Go ahead and comment if you like getting up early or sleeping in, and both are fine. This intention takes consistent effort and daily commitment, but I cannot stress to you how important waking up early is to having an incredible life. I want to make an important point here, and I want you to write this down. When I talk about getting up early, I don't mean you should sleep less. We don't need to sacrifice sleep. We already get too little sleep as it is. Our society is at an epidemic level of sleep deprivation. It's not healthy to walk around in a fog feeling groggy and sleep deprived all the time. So when I say awake is about getting up early, I don't just mean keep doing what you're doing, keep going to bed late, keep watching that show at night, keep watching that movie, and then just get up early and get less sleep. I mean it's time to prioritize sleep and good nighttime habits so you can set yourself up to be truly awake and live intentionally every single day. My teenage years were spent thrill-seeking and trying anything and everything I could to find meaning and purpose. I stayed out all night and slept all day, right? It's common, we all do that. When I became a monk, I woke up every day at 4 a.m. to meditate. That time in my life began my journey of growth and personal development. And I know that waking up early played a big part in any success and happiness that I have today. Whenever my life has been heading in the right direction and I'm accomplishing goals and consistently getting the kind of results in my work and relationships that I want, one of the key things I've noticed is that I'm consistently waking up early. And the thing is, I'm not alone. As I've talked to and studied some of the most influential and talented people on the planet, I've discovered that waking up early is a common thread. Apple CEO Tim Cook wakes up at 3:45 a.m. Richard Branson, the CEO of Virgin Airlines, gets up at 5:45 a.m. every day. The former First Lady, Michelle Obama, is up at 4:30 a.m. Right? Ursula Burns from Xerox, the CEO, rises at 5:15 a.m. And Twitter and Square CEO Jack Dorsey wakes up at 5:30 a.m. The PepsiCo CEO Indra Nooyi is in the office by 7 a.m. getting up as early as 4. Bill Gates, Phil Knight, Kevin O'Leary, and the list goes on and on. All early risers. Unfortunately, most of us are really good at setting ourselves up for bad sleep. We stay up too late, we stay on our screens and devices until all hours, and then struggle to wake up in the morning. How many of you have this reality? Let me check back in the comments. Looks like we have a lot of early risers in the comments, which is amazing. Congratulations, you're already one step ahead. We've got Tim, Brandy, Vance, Maru, I love it. And some night owls too, Derek, John, Audra. Now, it's not easy. I have to work at it too. But I've discovered that the secret to waking up early actually starts way before the sun rises. It's actually getting a good evening routine. There are 5 things you need to do to set good sleep routines. Ready? Number 1 is to determine how much sleep you really need so you can decide when to go to bed so you can wake up when you want to. Number 2 is set up your bedroom for sleep. Make sure you have a quiet, dark room where you won't be awakened by lights or noise and a space you don't do anything else. Number 3, don't eat a huge meal right before bed. You get better sleep if your body isn't trying to digest food while you sleep. Give it 2 to 3 hours. Number 4, switch off your screens. Avoid television and other devices starting at least an hour before bedtime. And number 5, take time to wind down at the end of the day. This is a great time to practice gratitude, reflect, meditate, journal, or pray. Whatever it is that sets you up for calm and peace. Our bodies and minds needs good sleep. It's so important. So, what's the first thing you notice about yourself when you haven't had enough sleep? Comment right now. Are you someone who gets crabby? Are you short-tempered? Are you less productive or less focused? I know I experience a lot of those things. So when you're really well rested, you're able to actually build more meaningful relationships and actually be more productive, make more money, be more passionate, be more focused, be far less distracted, improve your mood, have a contagious energy, reduce anxiety and stress. All of that sounds amazing, and it's true in my own life. When I'm getting enough sleep and the right depth of sleep and waking up early, I'm operating at a higher level. Now, let me just take a look in the comments to see if there are any questions. Jason says, it's so true. I function so much better when I get enough sleep. Yes, exactly. Everything in the day goes smoother, doesn't it, right? I absolutely love that, Jason. Thank you so much for sharing. Ravi has a question. Hi, Ravi. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here. So Ravi's asking, what time is early? What if you work the night shift? So totally understand. I can see a lot of you work night shifts. That's an excellent question. There's no magic hour. Early for you may not be the same as early for me. If you work overnight or have an unusual schedule or have kids, of course you'll need to adjust accordingly. Early means waking up half an hour or an hour before you really need to. A good general rule is to determine how many hours of sleep you need, then ask yourself what time would you feel like you could get up and get an early start on the day. Then count back from that. There's your new bedtime. So it's all about giving yourself space in the morning. Gina says, I junk food when I haven't got enough sleep. Oh, yep, I have been there, right? Thanks for mentioning that. Our other healthy habits go out the window, right? When you haven't slept enough, you eat the wrong food. You want more sugar in your body. Leonardo says, if I'm sleep deprived, I can't focus. I might as well just go home. I totally get that, right? It's an issue. So your evening routine is going to absolutely transform your morning routine. And your evening routine is based on these simple steps. And right now you may be looking at it and thinking, I just can't do that. It's too difficult. All I want you to do is try and make one of those changes every single week. So if you're currently addicted to your devices, for this first week, make sure you don't look at your devices in the last hour before going to sleep. Or maybe you're one of those people that eats really late. For this first week, all I want you to do is make sure that you start eating earlier. Start with just one of these simple habits and add one every single week. Don't try and do it all at the same time. Getting great sleep, deep sleep, will actually transform everything in your life. I can't stress it enough. The next A is attention. Let's go ahead now and talk about the second intention that will help you live a purpose-filled year. Attention. Now, my friend Lula had a tendency to procrastinate. She was full of amazing ideas and she wanted to do all of them. She didn't understand why nothing ever seemed to get done. I met Lula when she joined Genius Coaching, and I watched as the live sessions helped her to declutter and rewire her mind and have the focus she needed to start accomplishing her goals. The progress she's made is astounding. Do you ever find yourself running around trying to do several things at once? Maybe you have lots of goals and lots of ideas. How many multitaskers do we have in here? Drop a yes in the chat if you're a multitasker. We pride ourselves on being great at doing lots of things at the same time. It's kind of a rush thinking. We're able to do 10 things at the same time. But can we really? Do we really achieve those things? What if that's not what's best for us? We think that doing more and doing it faster is the path to productivity, but it's actually completely the opposite. So if I have 5 things to do and I give them 20% of my attention each, guess what? I end up with tasks that only get 20% of the effort, and I'll probably only get 20% of the result that I could have had. Now, if I give each task 100% one at a time, I'll complete each one faster and more effectively, and I've definitely noticed that in my own life, and science backs it up. Research shows multitasking actually harms our ability to be productive and follow through on resolutions. Here's the science. Harvard psychologists Matthew Killingsworth and Daniel Gilbert discovered that 47% of our waking hours are spent thinking about something totally unrelated to what's currently right in front of us. That means nearly half the time we're not focused on what we're doing. This has a huge effect on productivity and results, and here's why. Multitasking studies show it's impossible for our brains to focus on 2 tasks at once. Instead, the brain rapidly switches back and forth between tasks. Our attention is spread thin and trying to achieve many things at once. It's like trying to run from one side of a city to the other side during rush hour. Instead of having focused attention and energy available so we can dive deep into one task, everything we do suffers. Doing more at the same time leads to less productivity because we end up doing a mediocre job at everything. Think of your attention like a smartphone battery. Just like your phone has 100% battery life, you have a set amount of attention available to you. Now, you can message at the same time as you send an email, at the same time as you play a game, at the same time as you take a picture. But the more apps you use at the same time, the faster the battery drains. That's what's happening to the battery of our lives. It's being drained every time we're running multiple applications in our mind and body. Does that make sense? Let me look in the chat. We've definitely got some multitaskers here. I can see Cecilia, Pat, Manny, Carlos, Elizabeth. Yes, we're all friends here, so it's fine. Be open, right? It's totally expected, and that's kind of how we've been trained. It's really, really hard to make solid progress towards meeting our resolutions when our attention is so divided. And that's why the second intention for a purpose-filled year is using your attention to focus on doing just one thing at a time. That doesn't sound too difficult, right? Now, if you've always been a multitasker, or you find yourself defaulting into multitasking more often than you'd like, I urge you to set the intention to put your attention on one thing at a time. I hope you're all taking notes and writing down what's sticking out to you. I can't wait for you to begin putting these intentions into practice in your life. So, focusing on one thing at a time is a simple concept, but that doesn't make it easy. And I've discovered that the best way to change the way you focus your attention is to make the shift one step at a time. I want to share with you a one step at a time strategy you can use that will help you go from multitasking to focused attention. I call this strategy Notice, Shift, Rewire. Listen to me carefully. Here's how it works. The step is to notice when you're caught in the state of busyness and messiness. You know what that feels like. I don't need to tell you. As soon as you see yourself doing multiple things at a time, catch yourself. You have to recognize and identify that you're distracted and trying to do multiple things at once. The second step is to shift gears. The idea is you want to purposefully bring your attention back to the present moment. Don't be frustrated that you lost attention, bring it back. I use this step in the group meditations in the Genius Group Coaching. I'm constantly saying, when you get distracted, gently bring back your awareness and your thoughts. The third step is rewire. Really savor the experience of being fully engaged in something. Whatever you're doing is worth your attention. And when you bring all your senses, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your words to a space, you're present. Rewiring means to really immerse yourself in the experience you're having or task you're doing in the present moment. If you're driving, really tap into feel of your body on the seat, your hands on the wheel, notice the curve of the road and the path ahead of you. Just think about what we'd miss every day when we don't stop and take a moment to rewire. Let me jump into the chat quickly and see if there are any questions on attention. So just looking out for a moment here. Hassan is asking, Jay, how do I notice when I get distracted? How do I help myself notice so I can even start using this strategy to notice, shift, and rewire? Thank you, Hassan. Great question. That is the first step that you have to think about. Now, it is difficult when we're right in the middle of things, right? It is very difficult. But here's the thing. One thing I do to help myself stop and take notice is set up little cues in my day. What I mean by cues is I create little conscious reminders that are linked to objects that I use or tasks I perform every day. Let me give you an example. For example, you could use brushing your teeth as a cue. Put a note on your mirror to do a self-check so you see it when you brush your teeth. Use that time to bring your attention back to the one thing you need to be focusing on right now. Right? It's a daily habit. Eating your meals, for example. Those little cues or signs will make it easier to have built-in touch points where you consciously take a moment to notice when you're focusing on too many things, then shift and rewire your attention. The third A is all about attitude. Cut out complaining, criticizing, and comparison. The third intention that will help you have a purpose-filled year so you can achieve your goals and resolutions is attitude. Our attitudes set the tone for how we live each and every day. Sometimes we put up with or nurture attitudes that actually hold us back. When I met Sebastian, he was struggling with his attitude. He was struggling in his relationship and with his finances. He found himself blaming everyone around him for the problems he was facing. He was stuck in a cycle of complaining and waiting for someone else to fix it. How many of you have met someone like that? Can anyone else relate to that feeling themselves? It's hard to keep a positive perspective when things are not going well, but a positive perspective can make all the difference in the world. Now, there are 3 attitudes that monks call the cancers of the mind, or that you need to remove from your life. When I began to remove these 3 attitudes from my mind, my life absolutely changed. And my friend Sebastian discovered this as well. So if you want to remove obstacles that stand in your way when it comes to your goals and resolutions, these 3 attitudes need to be some of the first things to let go of, to really get rid of. Go ahead and write this down. The 3 cancers of the mind are complaining, criticizing, and comparison. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. When you hear complaining, comparing, and criticizing, you're like, how, right? How do I do this? It's impossible. This is what everyone does. This is everywhere. And sure, everyone does it, but that doesn't make it right. You don't want to be everyone, right? Just because everyone's doing it, something doesn't mean it's right or it's the way things work. It just doesn't matter if everyone's doing it around you or if it's hard. What matters is whether it will change your life. That's really what it comes down to. We put off hard and difficult things, not realizing that when we do the hard and difficult things, our lives become simpler and easier. Really take that in. When we try and do the things that are simple and easy, our lives become difficult and hard, right? It's crazy how that works. Did you catch that? It's funny how that works. Let me repeat that and really write this down and take it in. When we do the hard and difficult things, our lives become simpler and easier. When we try and do only things that are simple and easy, our lives become difficult and hard. Don't wait around for the easy things. Do the things that will change your life and remove complaining, criticism, and comparison from your vocabulary and your mind. So let's dive in. I'm going to tell you about all three and give you strategies on how to remove them from your life. The first cancer of the mind you need to remove from your lives for intentionally attitude is complaining. Research shows that most people complain once a minute during a typical conversation. Does that shock you, or can you relate? Comment below if that surprises you. I know it kind of surprised me. Complaining is easy to start and hard to quit, and there's a reason for that. Evidence actually shows that complaining rewires your brain for negativity until over time you find it's easier to be negative than positive. That's super scary stuff. Complaining also damages areas of the brain. Research from Stanford University has shown that complaining shrinks the hippocampus, the area of the brain that's critical to problem solving and intelligence. Why would we want to do that to ourselves? Complaining is bad for your overall health too. When you complain, your body releases the stress hormone cortisol. Cortisol shifts you into the fight or flight mode, directing oxygen, blood, and energy away from everything but the systems that are essential to immediate survival. You think less clearly, are more impatient and stressed, and have less energy to put towards your relationships, goals, and passions. It's easy to sit back and think life is bad, negative things are just happening to us. That makes it easy to fall into a complaining attitude. Instead, let's remember life is happening for us, for our growth, for our learning, for our improvement, for our opportunity to thrive, for our opportunity to excel and accelerate. The second cancer of the mind we need to remove is criticism. Criticism will 100% hold us back from our goals and resolutions. There was a monk in my monastery who was extremely erratic. He complained a lot. And I used to go around to everyone and unfortunately criticize him because I always had to be around someone who was a complainer. And guess what? What did that make me? It made me a complainer. I had just become what I said I didn't like. Scary. The truth is we become what we think about. Repeat that out loud to yourself. I become what I think about, right? When you criticize someone for complaining, you become a complainer. It's crazy, it's scary how that works. When you criticize someone for being judgmental, you just became judgmental. It's so important that we pull back from criticizing others. It's not that they don't do anything wrong and they're perfect. That's not the point. No one likes to be criticized. I know I don't, and you don't either. People are so much more complex than they appear from the outside. They have so much more going on behind the scenes of their life that we don't even see. And maybe their upbringing, their background, their childhood, their parenting. I encourage you to remove criticism from your daily life and see how much you change your life. The last cancer of the mind for a better attitude is comparison. Now, comparison is far too easy to fall into. We're constantly comparing ourselves to everyone else as we swipe on Instagram and scroll social media. Comparing is definitely ruining us right now. It's destroying our happiness when we measure our worth by someone else's measure. We always come up short, right? We never feel better. We're not beautiful enough or smart enough or fit enough or rich enough. We lose our sense of self-worth because we value ourselves based on the perfect image that we perceive of others. But it's not even real. So how do we stop? I'm convinced the key is to build up ourselves so much that we don't have enough time to compare ourselves to anyone else. If you're working on yourself, you won't have time to compare yourself to anyone else. We have time to compare ourselves because we're not preparing ourselves. We're not working on ourselves. If we're preparing ourselves for greatness, if we're preparing our bodies and our lives for greatness, we won't have time to compare ourselves to anyone else. When we invest in ourselves, we don't have time to be distracted by what anyone else is doing. So how do we do that? How do we do that preparation? How can we break the cycle of complaining, criticizing, and comparing? I'm sure you want to know And here's how it works. There are two things you can do. The first is to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. Remember how I just said the brain can only focus on one thing at a time. We can use this scientific fact to help shift our attitudes by moving our attention to other things. When you feel like complaining, criticizing, or comparing, shift your attention to something you're grateful for instead, or something positive in that person instead, or something positive in that moment instead. Taking time to contemplate what you're grateful for isn't merely the right thing to do. There are amazing emotional and health benefits that make it so worth it. Gratitude has been shown to reduce the stress hormone cortisol by 23%. Research conducted at the University of California also found that people who work daily to cultivate an attitude of gratitude experience improved mood and energy and substantially less anxiety due to lower cortisol levels. That's amazing, right? Everyone can practice gratitude. It's free. It's a choice we can all make. It doesn't cost a thing. As you practice gratitude and focus on shifting your attention to positive things, a positive attitude will become a way of life. And your life will change. I promise you. Just watch and see how your life changes. The next A is attraction. We've reached the fourth intention now. And this one is so important. I can't wait to break it down for you. But first, let me ask you, how's this training going for you? Are you getting some amazing breakthroughs from it? Are you realizing what you need to focus on? Even if you've heard these things before, are you rethinking them? Comment below in the chat what your favorite takeaway has been so far. Let's share with each other, about what's really impacted us the most. It's really important to have that sharing. The fourth intention to a purpose-filled year is attraction. The thing I want you to know about attraction is that it's not what you think. It's not just I can think about something and poof, there it is right there. There's so much more to it than that. Now, before we can really understand how attraction works for us, we have to understand that we have a relationship with everything. Listen to me carefully. Go deep with me on this one. Don't take the concept of attraction at face value. What do I mean when I say we have a relationship with everything? Right? Get really clear. I mean we have a tone or a pattern based on the experience and connection we've had with things in the past. This relationship affects how we deal with them in the future. So we've had a relationship with money, our emotions, our family. Let me give you an example. I'm a public speaker today, but as a kid, I was one of the shyest kids in school, and I mean that genuinely. I used to get so nervous stepping onto stage. My first public speaking experience happened when I was about 8 years old, and I had to give a presentation during the school Diwali festival. And my mom had asked me to sing this Indian prayer, right? And I was so nervous because in front of my friends, I was dressed up in this traditional Indian clothes. I'd never done that. I was overweight growing up, and so the clothes didn't really fit right. And my friends had never seen clothes like that before in the area I grew up in London. And not only that, I didn't have a good singing voice. I still don't today. So I got up on stage in these clothes and I started singing, and all of a sudden, all my friends started laughing. Almost 400 students just literally burst out laughing. And I was 8 years old, and for the first time on stage, and everyone was laughing at me. I started crying. I looked down to try and read the next line of the song that I'd forgotten by then, but I couldn't because my tears had completely dissolved all the words, and the ink had, started to run and fade. So now I didn't even know this song, and everyone was laughing even more. And then my teacher had to come and take me off stage. It was super embarrassing at the time, and probably one of the toughest things. Now, it's amazing that today I speak to thousands and thousands of people on stage. There was a long time in my life where I swore I would never be a public speaker, that I couldn't do it, right? It was just too far away. That was the first time I ever set a limiting belief consciously. I can't be on stage. I can't be a public speaker. But since then, things have changed. I began to think it was possible for me. And as I verbalized that, I started attracting these opportunities in my life. It was a switch. It all goes back to what I told you a bit ago when we talked about attention. We think the universe, I've heard this being said before, that the universe will only work for us and with us when we open up these opportunities. And for me, it was pushing me out of my comfort zone. I'm always being pushed out of my comfort zone. You are too, and we have to decide whether we're going to do one of two things. Number one, let the pain of it elevate us and make us better, or let the pain of it destroy us so we give up. That's our two options always. Here's the thing about attraction. As we've talked about being awake, focusing our attention, and developing positive attitudes, it all ties with attraction. By working on these areas in our lives, we're consciously doing something so important. We're choosing to focus on what we are, not what we're not. We're choosing to get up early for a productive day because we believe we can accomplish great things. We're choosing to put our attention on one thing at a time because we believe that one thing is worth doing with excellence. We're choosing to work on our attitudes and remove criticism, complaining, and comparison from our lives because we believe we're better off without those things. And so are the people in our lives. Attraction isn't just choosing a label like wealthy or entrepreneur or public speaker and then wishing ourselves into it. It's not as lame as that. It's intentionally taking what we have with our time and attention and attitudes and investing more into what we're already good at so we can become incredible, right? When we become incredible at what we're already good at, everything else naturally follows. Wealth, relationships, energy, and influence, right? Do you see what I mean? We're not setting out to become someone entirely different. Attraction is finding what's already inside us, nurturing it. Attraction is more about you attracting because of who you are, not attracting because you thought of something out there. When we start presenting the best of who we are out in the world, the opportunities are attracted to you. So be willing. Be willing to dig deep and discover where your true genius lies. Even if it's in an area where you've had a bad experience like I did with public speaking. Even if it's an area where you have limiting beliefs. It's so worth it. And being willing to do the work inside you will help make everything that goes on outside you come together. We think of it as backwards. We think if we just fix everything outside of us, what's going inside will be better. It's actually just not true. It's the opposite. Doing the work inside, you will begin to attract good things like your goals and resolutions from the outside. And the fifth A is accountability. Now, I'm so grateful that you took this time to be here with me today. And I'm really hoping that you've enjoyed this workshop so far. If you've gotten some value in some way, comment yes so that I can see it. I'm going to go back into these comments to see what you posted as your biggest takeaways. Right? And see, here's the thing. If you haven't posted any takeaways yet, go ahead and do that now. I love seeing what you've got out of this, and it's so important for you to articulate it as well, even if it was just something really small that's going to make a big change. So Gabriella says, do one thing at a time was huge for me. You always think you need to be doing several things in order to feel productive when it's really not true. That's right, 100%. Absolutely. Aiden says, when we criticize, we become what we criticize. Yes, isn't that so true, right? We don't often think about it. I love that one too. Letitia has a comment. I never thought setting up nighttime habits would help me wake up in the morning. I'm totally going to try that. Absolutely, that's it. Good, excellent. You'll be so glad. And let me take one more. Brandon writes, choosing to focus on what we are, not what we're not. I love that. I love that. Amazing. I could read these all day. These are amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, let's talk about this. Putting the 5 intentions to work in your life will enable you to literally transform your daily habits, your success, and your happiness, right? They make all the difference in the world when it comes to being able to set resolutions and then actually see them through. But we all have to make a choice. We can either do what we've always done and hope that change will happen to us, or we can be intentional, take action, and make the behavior and mindset shifts that will cause change to happen for us. If that's you, if you're ready to be intentional, make mindset shifts, and take action towards discovering your purpose and achieving your goals, then I want to tell you about something. That is the focus of everything we do inside my Genius coaching community every single day. Which brings us to the last intention, number 5. The last intention is the one more thing that's perhaps the most powerful factor in a person's success, accountability, and most people are missing it. Things won't always be easy. There'll be challenges and roadblocks that pop up along the way all the time. We need a supportive community around us to have our back and cheer us on and encourage us as we try to create a life of passion and purpose. This is what Genius Coaching Community is all about. Look at the list of what top 3 goals you wrote down earlier in the workshop, right at the beginning. I mentioned at the beginning of this workshop that members of my community, the Genius community, have achieved massive breakthroughs and successes in the past 12 months in finance, in personal, in relationships. There's a reason for that. I've designed it specifically so that you can gain the skills you need to discover your passion. I've designed it so that you can actually follow through and achieve your goals. I've designed it so you can overcome your challenges and your limiting beliefs and find a community of like-minded people to support you, because we don't always find them in our family or people around us. Let me give you an example of exactly what I mean. Laura, a children's speech and language pathologist from Denver, joined Genius in January 2018. She says Genius changed her life because she was part of a Genius and benefited from the consistent education, coaching, and amazing community. Laura was able to start living her purpose to help all children find their voices like never before. Today, her private practice is expanding, and she was even able to hire an employee, something she had never planned on doing. Here's another one from Dipti. She says Genius Coaching has changed her whole perspective on life. After just 3 months of coaching, she's already taking steps towards real living and even sharing those things with her child. And I love that. I absolutely love that. One of my favorite things to do is hear from geniuses how this program has transformed their lives. We literally have thousands of videos and testimonials for how Genius has made an impact on thousands of people across the world. Yours could be next. You could be the one crossing goals off that list and accomplishing things that help you live your passion and your purpose and live with confidence. So let's just dive into what Genius is all about and why it works. The first thing that makes the Genius coaching community so effective is that the live coaching and mentorship with me every single week in the private Genius community. Now, I don't offer that anywhere else. Genius members are my inner circle. It's where members can come and develop a personal relationship with me, ask questions, and get feedback and support straight from me. I guide geniuses through a curriculum which I've developed with practical tools and exercises. Just like I've done with you today, in 2019, we covered topics like dealing with toxic and negative relationships, meditation and mindfulness, success in the workplace and dealing with toxicity, managing our energy and balance throughout the day, money and finance habits for brilliant success, affirmations, and so many more. Everything I teach has tips and insights that will help you move toward a confident, meaningful, and fulfilling, successful life. Each month is dedicated to a different topic, and we focus exclusively on the 5 biggest areas of our lives: financial, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. We go over everything from wealth to health, to navigating your mind and emotions, to forgiveness and healing. We dedicate an entire month to each topic. We'll break down, dissect, reflect, and meditate on them in the deepest possible way so you can build the foundations and the practical skills to make being intentional and creating mindset and behavior shifts a reality in your life. Now, I'm 100% committed to your growth. I get requests for personal coaching every day, and if I could extend myself and clone myself, I would, but I can't. That technology doesn't exist yet. Genius is my way of serving as many of you as possible. I put my heart and energy into each and every live coaching session. There is so much thought going into each of these coaching calls, and I work to give my best in this space. Genius gives you access to all of the behind the scenes of what I'm really up to. and what I've been thinking about that week, what I'm studying, what I'm learning, what's coming up. You get all the behind the scenes. Plus, all my research and tips are shared in this coaching group. So if you've ever been touched by one of my videos or you've loved a podcast, this coaching group takes it all to another level where you can actually change your life and put these things into practice. If you've been wanting to get to know me better, I definitely want to get to know you better. The Genius program is a perfect step forward and the best place to start. Now, if all of that sounds good to you, let me know in the comments. I want to hear what you have to say, right? I'd love to see what you guys are saying and what you think about what I'm sharing. If this sounds like something that resonates with you, let me know right now in the comments. So let me take a quick look. Yes, Paul says, that sounds awesome. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. I'm glad that it resonates with you. Megan says, nice. I think this is just what I need. Awesome. That's brilliant. And I'm looking forward to sharing more with you now. And I'm glad that I'm always seeing a lot of comments coming through saying, yes, right? Jay, this is exactly what I need. This is what I've been looking for. I know so many of you are emailing us, tagging us in Insta stories saying, Jay, we need more coaching. We need more of you to be able to guide us through these challenges. And that's really, really important to me. So thank you. Thank you so much for having so much love for what I'm trying to share with the world. The Genius community is seriously my favorite place online to hang out because of the energy, the amazing group of people that we have. I love seeing transformations and growth happen all across the world, and I love celebrating the victories and challenges together. Mentoring and coaching is powerful. When you have it every single week, you see the biggest shifts in the long term and the short term. The second thing that makes Genius so amazing is the built-in supportive community. You're coming into a community that's been live for 2 years with thousands of members. There are over 10,000 geniuses in the community, and we're all on this journey together. You're not alone. You're not the only one out there who wants to develop more passion and grow. Maybe you're feeling alone in your town or your city or where you live, but being in Genius means you have a family of over 10,000 brains to pick, right? Having trouble executing your weekly exercise? Ask a genius. Remember, you're facing a tough time personally in your life. You can ask a genius. Maybe you've got trouble at work. Ask a genius to support you. If you want to share a victory, you want to share something big in your life, and you want to be celebrated by people who have real cheerleaders and believe in you, the Genius community. The Genius community is engaged and active and global. You'll meet new friends from over 140 countries who will genuinely become like family. The Genius community is engaged and active and global. You'll meet and make new friends from over 140 countries who will become like family. The third thing you get are Genius meetups. That's right. While other coaching groups are just virtual only, we take Genius offline and organize in-person Genius meetups in cities around the world. It's so special and so powerful. I post images and pictures all the time. These in-person meetups bring the power of in-person community to your area. To date, we've hosted more than 500 meetups in over 140 cities across the globe. In-person meetups give geniuses a chance to get face-to-face with other geniuses, and this is where the real magic happens. Attending Genius meetups gives you the chance to grow friendships and make relationships with people who will become like family. I love what Genius member Jennifer said about it. She said through Genius, she's met friends who have quickly become like family. She loves how they call each other out, support, and inspire each other all of the time. She has a deeper connection with other geniuses than some people she's known her whole life. And I haven't even mentioned the brainstorming and masterminding that goes on. Genius meetups are great places to discuss ideas, build partnerships, and start new ventures or gain mentorship around your ventures because there are so many talented people. It brings me so much joy knowing that we have live meetup groups run by the community in so many cities around the world. The fourth thing Genius members get is the full access to the vault filled with all my previous programs that are no longer available to the public, including Success Habits, Habits for Happiness, 5 Rules to Create the Life You Want, and Live Your Purpose. It's kind of like the Disney Vault, except these trainings are available only to Genius members. The fifth thing Genius members get are live guided meditations by me every single week. As a monk, I spent, up to 8 hours a day sometimes meditating and learning how to train my mind. Each live coaching session has a guided meditation with me, and all the meditations get archived so you can watch them and replay them at any time. These meditations are going to help you upgrade your mindset, push forward, and achieve everything you've ever wanted. So here's my humble request. I'd love for you to join us in Genius. I've made it really, really simple for everyone to get involved. But before I tell you about that, I want you to know nothing is changing when it comes to the videos I share on my social media channels. Nothing is changing about my podcast. I've been making 12 videos a month, 3 videos a week for the last 2 years. And I definitely want you to know that 99% of my work is free and will always remain free. 2 new podcasts a week, 8 podcasts a month. Genius Coaching Group was created to be that extra step of accountability and action for people who want to commit to their growth and are willing to put in the work. And when I did the research, I found that when we invest our time, our energy, and our money into our growth, not only do we get more out of it, we're more committed to it, and that change actually sticks. So if that describes you, if you know you're committed to growth and ready to take the next step, then Genius Coaching Community is waiting for you. There's room for you. There's a spot for you with us, and we're waiting for you. We're so excited to welcome you to the community. So right now you're thinking, okay, Jay, but what does that look like? What kind of investment are we talking about? Where can I get live coaching every single week, the live meditations, access to the community, access to the live meetups, and to the vault? How much is that going to cost me? What does that look like? I'm sure you're thinking that. And here's the answer. It's just $39 a month. That's it. That's absolutely it. When I started Genius, a lot of people said to me, Jay, you're crazy. You're practically giving it away. Don't you want it to be more expensive and, to show the value that you're giving? And my honest answer is no. I want to make Genius as accessible to as many people as possible with the level of commitment for growth. That's why I've set the price so low to allow a lot of people to be able to make this commitment. It's literally less than a coffee a day. It's really a simple amount to invest in your personal growth. Because here's the thing. If you're ready to commit to growth, if you're ready to do the work, I want there to be a place that you can come and learn and get the support you need. And I told you it was simple, right? I've stuck to my promise. Plus, it costs even less if you sign up for the annual plan. When you purchase an annual subscription to Genius, you get 2 months for free. You save $78 and you get 12 full months of Genius. And guess what? You're never locked in. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, right? It's that simple. You can sign up right now for $39, and if you don't like it, we will refund you 100%, no questions asked, even if you signed up for the annual level. There are some of you listening right now who know this is the moment for you. This is that opportunity you've been waiting for. If that's you, I would love for you to comment right now. Drop it in the chat and say, I'm in. Comment and commit right now. And if you have any questions about Genius, just drop that in the chat too. I'll take a look in a moment and answer them for you as well. But see, here's the thing. You've got nothing to lose. Take a chance, take a risk, and make an investment of $39. Join me in Genius Coaching and see how it changes your life over the next 30 days. And here's the truth. If it's not a good fit, there's no contract. We'll miss you, but you can leave with no hard feelings. But if it is a good fit, let's just imagine for a moment that it works. Think about how many great achievements and results you're going to see in your life based on this small investment. What does 2020 hold for you? What resolutions will you be able to achieve with my help and the help of other geniuses who are excited to support you? Think about how much progress you will have made by this time next year. Like the progress Danielle made. Danielle says Genius has completely transformed her life. She says it has changed her views of herself and has helped her find her purpose and change her perspective. Now she's out there putting her purpose into action every single day with confidence and focus. And then there's Sebastian, who was desperately looking for a light at the end of the tunnel when he found genius. He was stuck in inaction, but from session 1 of Genius Life Coaching, he began putting wisdom and truth into work in his life. And today he's achieving his goals and experiencing amazing relationships and personal growth. And the truth is, this is what I really, really want you to think about. What if instead of not taking this opportunity, instead of not trying it out and not getting the benefits, what if you do? What if you try it out and see what happens? Try it just for 30 days, right? That's all I'm saying. Just try it for 30 days. There's literally no risk. I'm confident that if you do the work, you'll get tremendous results. Genius has a cancel anytime, 100% satisfaction guarantee. And here's how it works. Go ahead and give Genius a test drive. Dive into the private members area, the community of 10,000 passionate, purpose-driven geniuses, all the trainings and live coaching sessions, the vault. Even go ahead and attend the in-person Genius meetups. Here's my proposition. If you give Genius a try and don't like it, just like Netflix, you can cancel at any time. There's no lock-in, there's no contract, and there are 0 penalties for canceling, even when you're an annual member. So there's truly no risk to you. Now, I'm going to take a quick look at some of the comments coming through of people. I can see there's a lot of excited, and I see a lot of you saying you're in, which I'm really, really excited to see this. Dom says, thank you, Jay. I can't wait to see inside. I'm really excited by that as well. I can't wait to welcome all the new geniuses. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm looking at questions. Karen's asking, where do I sign up? I love your enthusiasm. I really do. Just click the button below to sign up and welcome to Genius. Simple as that. I see a few questions in here I want to answer as well. I told you I'd get to them, so let me try now. So first there's a question from Heidi. She says, I'm not sure what exactly the Genius Coaching Group contains. Is it for me? Okay, good question. If this is a question you're still asking, you're trying to figure it out, so let's review that super quick, right? I'll just give you a quick recap. The Genius Coaching Group at $39 a month comes with live coaching with me every single week in the private online community group. Okay? The second thing that you get is access to the live meditations every single week with me. You also get access to an amazing online community of over 10,000 geniuses from more than 140 countries across the globe. They're amazing people. On top of that, you get access to a private members area where all the trainings and meditations are stored. And don't forget about the vault full of programs that are no longer available to the public. And best of all, you're invited to in-person Genius meetups. We've had more than 500 meetups since Genius started 2 years ago. We've met in cities across the world in more than 140 locations. These meetups are where the real magic and power of connection takes place. I can't overemphasize how amazing they are. I can't wait for you to go to one. When you join Genius, you immediately start to benefit from all my commitment, all my research, everything that I'm working on, all in one place. Okay, so Ryan has a question. He wants to know, what kind of payments do you accept? Okay, Ryan, I'm excited that you're asking that question. We take absolutely every form of payment. We take PayPal, credit cards, and debit cards. So no matter which one you use, PayPal, credit cards, debit cards, all of them. And our payment process is super safe and super secure, so no need to worry when you're submitting payment information. Let me see if there's some more questions. Jill wants to know, how long has Genius been open? Okay, that's a good question. Genius is officially 2 years old this January. Right now, we have over 10,000 members from more than 140 countries around the world, right? And I absolutely love that there's such an international perspective. No matter who you are or where you're at in your life right now, of all ages, all backgrounds, all demographics, there's another Genius member out there you can connect with. Now, I love seeing everyone in the chat saying, I'm in. Thank you, Todd. Welcome to Genius, Mariana. I'm so excited that you'll be joining us as well. James, thanks for being in. Love that energy. Okay, just one more question and then we'll wrap up so you can get on with your day. I really appreciate your time right now. Tariq says, what are the live coaching sessions like? Okay, good question. If you've ever watched any of my videos, the live coaching sessions are the next step. Or if you listen to the podcast, the live coaching sessions are the next step. We all gather together once a week and I do a live teaching and a guided meditation. The videos are streamed into the private online Genius group and then stored in the members area so you can watch the replay at any time. So if you missed the sessions, you can watch them on the replay. These live coaching sessions are where we all start to build relationships with each other, get coached by each other, and grow with each other. So here's my proposal. If any of my videos have ever touched you, if my podcasts have ever made an impact, if you believe that I've been useful in your life in any way, Genius Life Coaching makes it phenomenal and even better. Again, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've gotten massive value from the 5 Intentions training. Please, please, please take a moment to sign up to Genius Coaching Group by clicking on the link. Right? It's going to take just a few seconds. It's just a simple $39 a month. That's all it is. No contract, no lock-in, no tie-in, no long-term commitment. Test it for just 1 month. Experience it. See the benefits and the results you get in just 30 days. Remember, you're not alone. Genius is the place that will support you as you get intentional in 2020 and set those resolutions. And then I can't wait to see you achieve them. I can't wait to welcome you to the Genius community. Thank you so much.